I watched Chael Sonnen and Joe Rogan do this like the most ridiculous intro to their podcast, and I'm trying to replicate it as much as I can. I told Aubrey before we started, they're just like talking about coffee and stevia, and then he's like, "Is this it? Are we starting?" He's like, "Yeah, why not?"
We can talk about coffee and stevia.
Yeah, then, you know.
I'm a big Dutch Bros fans these days. Do you have Dutch Bros where you're from?
No, we don't.
Have you tried it out here?
No, I haven't.
You got to try it while you're out here.
Okay.
Yeah. Starbucks is all hype. The Dutch Bros is where it's at. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say I'm Dunkin' though.
I'm Panera.
Okay, what's up with Dunkin'? How come their flavors, their sugar-free flavors, have no sweet to them?
Because you have to add your own.
But no, like...
Did you turn down my earphones?
No, they're up.
Because I can't hear me now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I turned you down, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't care to hear my... Well,
Here,
I just couldn't hear anybody.
How's
okay,
that?
yes.
Okay, so anyway.
Sorry, this is our first podcast.
So no, Dunkin' Donuts doesn't have their sweetener, their sugar-free sweeteners. They don't taste sweet.
Yeah,
like it's like a hint of. Is it just?
No, they're not supposed to be sweet. They're just supposed to be flavors, which is great because it's like sometimes you got to question. Here's the thing. Especially when you're getting close to a show, you got to question, is this really sugar-free vanilla they're using?
That's one of her biggest fears.
But I just like how Dunkin' has like, well, I think the coffee itself tastes really good, but you get big cup for minimal amount of money.
So history and Ashley, one time she was traumatized by a diet root beer that wasn't a diet root beer. And I will forever be her drink taster.
Yeah, that was the biggest argument I've ever gotten in with my boyfriend because diet root beer and regular root beer look so similar, like extremely similar, the labeling, right? And I told him to get me some diet root beer, and he brought home regular. And I was starting to drink it, and I could not taste the difference. And I was like half a 2 liter in, so I was like 1 liter in. And then I realized I had a lot of sugar for nothing.
That's like a competitor's biggest fear.
Right. It's such a waste of calories. I mean... that was the time it was really hard for me to get lean too. I was like really struggling to get lean, and man.
And Hugo's never heard it, never lived it down.
I had a fit. I went off. That was the biggest argument I've ever gotten.
Ashley's a really good girlfriend. I'll let everyone know. I've seen her. She has one bad show prep like a year where I'm like, okay.
I get the crankies.
Get the crankies. You're pretty good though. I guess because you live in prep. Yeah.
Yes. I'm much better now.
Yes.
And it also helps too that, I don't really need to get a whole lot leaner when I do prep, right? Because I maintain more than I lean out. So I think that has something to do with it too. Yeah. So I don't have to go through these drastic calorie cuts or anything. So yeah, living lean is the way to go.
Yeah. I love Hugo. It's just Hugo because he's like foreign, so I could just see him being there. He's like, what? What's the big deal?
I can't even so really sweet. Imagine you upset though.
Oh yeah. I have like probably two freak outs a year. That's it. Where I'm just get too cranky and I just lose my cool.
2 freakouts, 2 cries.
2 cries, 2 freakouts. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
That's not bad.
For a girl who's in prep like 9 months out of the year, that's pretty solid.
I mean, especially with the cry part,
I'll take the exchange. And so at this point of the podcast, you guys are wondering, who the hell is that girl sitting?
Yeah, what is this girl doing in the middle of Adam and I? Where'd she come from?
Let's just randomly have just strangers in the middle of us at one podcast and not even address them. Like not even just one time.
Yes, just talk right through her.
So I was just walking down the street today and these 2 people approached me. I don't know who they are, but here I am.
Right. We're like, hey, she looks pretty. She'd be a great like prop to have,
We're struggling with our podcast subscribers, so we're just throwing things at the wall here. So this is Kara. And Kara is the owner, and what would I call you? Owner? Do you do CEO? What do you do?
That's CEO.
Yeah? Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds super important. CEO of Angel Competition Bikinis.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
So you guys know that's pretty much our only chosen bikini person we work with. I mean, for years at this point. Yeah, so... it's going to be cool. I'm excited that you're here. I think this is a long time coming.
Honored to be here all the way from Kansas City. I love Vegas.
Yeah, she flew in. We've been doing the Vegas thing with Savannah's here with Kara. They've been my weekend buddies. We've been doing a whole lot. I took them to someone that blew their mind yesterday. Well, I don't think we'll go into that, but it was hilarious. It was great.
Adam's been amazing tour guide.
I'm actually doing pretty decent at my tour guide, right? I just gotta get Ashley out in these, get her out there a little bit more with.
I've been competing. Sorry, I've been a little busy, Adam. My bad.
The spiritual guy, I was like, I don't think, because even I wouldn't go to that, But I was like, hey, we're right next to this guy. Yesterday we were at the mall, and I was like, we're right next to this guy. If you guys ever want, okay. It's weird. I understand. It's not like the norm for most people, right? And I was shocked by what happened when I went to his store. But it's called Brotherhood or B-Hood store at the Miracle Mile. There's the owner there. It has to be the owner. He'll talk to you about like life and world, and in a way where it makes you think. And like Savannah walked away, she was like, it was a conversation I didn't think I needed, but I needed. Like, yeah, it's kind of mind blowing, right?
It was mind blowing. Life changing.
I would love to have him on the podcast one day, even though I'm not really into that stuff. But he like really makes you think. Yeah, we'll have to go one day. Actually, it's different. Yeah, it's not like you're going to like a guru or something like that. But it's cool.
Is it like a tarot card or something?
No, he's just like a spiritual dude. And I'm not into that stuff at all. Like I don't,
Was he giving you astrology readings?
No, he just talks about like life, but he like. In a way where you're like, you know what? He's kind of like, there's some things he says, you're like, he's kind of right. You know? Like,
it was a lot like the law of attraction, except how to actually make it work for you.
Yeah, it's like somewhat motivational, somewhat get to work, somewhat like this world isn't really that important. Like, it's like, I don't know. It's hard. I'm not on a level where I could even explain what he talks about. Like, he's just very high level of what he does. So,
part of me just wants to live in my oblivious little world because I'm super happy and unaware of everything.
so mad props to Patrick out there. Hopefully we'll get him on the podcast one because he would actually be really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. As long as he doesn't get too strange on us.
No, it's not. Well, there's a couple parts. There's a couple parts that are a little out there for me. Being like Christian conservative guy, but like that's a little. But I was cool with it. It wasn't too much. Okay. But anyway, she's had some great, you've been on the highs and lows of it. She went to Area 15. Area 15. Okay. These two at Area 15 was the best. So if you guys are ever out in Vegas, there's a thing called the Area 15. It's like a light room where it's like a song and this crazy light show. And I guess you two, you're from Kansas City, right?
We're from Kansas, and there's not a whole lot to do there. So it was the best $80 I've ever spent in my entire life.
Kara was walking around with her mouth open and her eyes like glazed over. She's like, the whole time, like, where am I at? What's the meaning of life? I was like, Kara, it's just a light show.
Everything.
It's just a light show. But it was so funny to watch them too. And then they thought they were stuck in this, like, they thought they were like in an elevator and there was a bunch of mirrors around them. And I'm like, no, it's like, it's a room. It's a big room, but it looks the same everywhere. Like,
it was a whole other optical illusions everywhere.
It was cool. It was fun. I had a fun time, right?
You would like it, Ashley.
I'm sure
that one she'd like.
That sounds more like my jam.
Anyway, so we're so off the topic.
Yes.
But it's fun.
So you guys who regularly listen to the podcast know that I've mentioned my Europe trip, and I've always mentioned this character Kara, right? And I would reference Kara was brave enough to fill in the shoes of Adam, who couldn't go. And it's funny because now you guys get to see what she looks like. Well, for our YouTube watchers, you get to see what she looks like. But now you get to hear her at least. And, I always say that was a very cool thing that you did. Like, I know it's not easy to take 3 weeks off from work because you're a busy girl. And to be fair, I didn't know you all that well, and you didn't know me all that well. It's not like we've hung out and had long conversations before in the past. So it was really surprising that you volunteered to come with me to help me and support me and travel Europe. So that was really, really cool of you, and I'll never forget that. I just thought, wow, that is so, to have somebody that kind of stepped up to the plate like that to help me and support, and that was I will never forget it.
Yeah, well, it was an adventure of my lifetime. I had the time of my life, and thank you, Adam, for not going so that I could go.
That was the trip. That was the hardest trip has it been? It was the hardest trip you've taken ever? That was a lot of traveling.
I don't want to say ever because I used to live out of a suitcase like that and do seminars and compete and stuff. I haven't done it in a while, right, since because of COVID and stuff. But it was difficult. It really was difficult, and it would have been much more difficult if I was doing it alone. Or, Lauren was there, but only for certain parts of it. but Kara went with me the entire trip. So she was replacement pageant mom. But yeah, it was difficult. Yeah. It definitely had its moments where I'm just like, oh my God, I feel like a zombie right now. Because jet lag and time zone changes, and just even the whole Spain show was a little difficult to navigate because we didn't speak the language.
Yes. It was so cool, though, to meet so many customers and competitors over there.
Definitely.
Because the European competitors are different.
Yeah, definitely.
It was really cool.
You know what I noticed about the European competitors? We have a thing where, rice cakes, peanut butter is a common, pump-up food. I noticed in Europe, they did a lot of potato chips.
It was.
Oh, really?
That was strange to me. Potato chip bags everywhere. Just like how we, it's a standard to bring, your little rice cake bag with you backstage and a little nut butter and dip it in. They're all about the potato chips.
That's surprising.
I guess because of the sodium and the carbs and the oil. I don't know. But that was their thing. I'm not really a fan of potato chips.
Yeah.
But I'm not about that life. Kara was the one that actually gave me, she handed me, I should say, my 30th win trophy, which is actually behind Adam. I don't know if you guys can see it on the YouTube.
Drop the thing.
Yeah. But she was able to hand me that on stage. So that was a pretty cool experience, and we got a nice photo with her. So that was cool of them to allow them to they knew you were traveling with me, just give it to her on stage.
Yeah, so because Angel Competition Bikinis sponsored the Romania show, so part of that was awarding the bikini sponsor or the bikini first place.
Yeah, but it was cool that they were able to do it to the bikini overall and not some NPC bikini. It was okay, that's awesome.
But it was just really cool that you were the one that won, and I got to do that in Romania because that's one of the best memories of my life. Was in Romania, which is kind of random.
I think you teared up. I did too.
Oh, I definitely did.
Yeah, I cried on stage. That was one of my 2 times yearly cries, I guess.
You used one up.
I used one up, but for do happy tears count?
I don't think they count.
Happy tears.
I've only seen you with the happy tears though when you cry. I don't think I've seen you.
Sometimes I cry if I'm too behind on sleep and I'm just cranky and just frustrated. That's the only time, really. Not because I'm actually sad. It's just I'm just exhausted.
Yeah.
Oh, I cried in Spain though. I did cry in Spain.
Spain was hard.
Spain was hard because the night before the show, they kind of prolonged the athlete meeting, and it was supposed to be at 8 p.m., which is already my bedtime, and they extended it till way late.
1 a.m., 2 a.m.
And I was just so sad because I was frustrated. Well, I wasn't sad. I was just frustrated. And I was like, I just want to go to bed. I want to sleep. But, it's life I chose. And it's all about, you got to expect that. From time to time, just expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
So anyway, with that trip, how many times did you guys travel? Was it 7 times or something like that in that trip?
We lost count. How many planes did we get on?
A lot of planes. We had layovers. We also had long drives in the UK. Just a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, and then long drives in the UK really threw me off. Every time I would get in the car, I would go get in the wrong side because they're driving on the opposite side. True. I never figured it out the whole time we were there.
That's true.
You know what? I almost got hit by a car in Europe when I was there because I was looking the wrong way. Yeah. No, I just looked the wrong way.
Oh, you were driving?
No, I was walking across the street, and I looked to the left because I'm American.
Yeah.
And then I walked out, and a car came this way. I looked left, I looked right at the other side of the street, and then looked left again, and I really wasn't paying too much attention to the right, and I stepped out, and the car, I was like, oh yeah, I'm in Europe.
Oh yeah.
Whoops.
It's easy to forget.
Oh yeah, it's really, I can't believe I did that, but it was super scary. I was like, okay, from now on I'm looking 5 times.
Dude, that's crazy stuff. Yeah. I will say from my year, especially in the UK, I kind of got on a tea kick, and I'm still drinking tea.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, tea. And it's amazing. It's really good.
That's funny. That's cool.
Different tea flavors is fun.
I have 2 kettles now because Phoebe stayed at the house.
Oh, the electric kettle.
Yeah, her first time she came to the house, she's like, "Where's your kettle?" It was so matter of fact, it just is. Everyone has one.
In the U.S., we just microwave a mug in there. So
yeah. So it's that was funny, and I was like, "Kettle? What's a kettle?" She's like, "You don't have a kettle?" I'm like, "No, I don't even know what it is." so now I have 2. So anyway, so you have a cool story about how you started Angels Competition Bikinis. We have Aubrey didn't close the door, so we got dudes.
I thought we were supposed to keep the door
Aubrey,
open.
I think,
Hi,
went
little
out.
doggy.
Aubrey, where are you, Aubrey?
Dude's, he went to the bathroom, I think. This is the second dude's appearance in 2 episodes. He's got to be the star. Good morning, hello.
Okay, well, I will tell dudes all about how we started. So, 2013, I did my first competition, and I ordered a suit online from the store. My coach told me that everyone was buying theirs, and when I got it, it did not make me feel confident when I put it on, and it actually was like made out of poor quality, and I did end up competing in the suit, but I never really felt confident on it. I didn't put it on and was like, oh, I feel amazing. So anyways, after the show, my mom and I were talking, and she was like, yeah, you could make these. And so at that time in my life, I was a respiratory therapist. I had just graduated college. I was doing what I went to school for, and it wasn't my true passion. And I was so passionate about this sport and crafting because I've always sewed from a young age. And so one thing led to another, and my sister and I just started sewing them, working on the patterns, and then we started on Etsy, which turned into eBay. And yeah, we started on eBay back in the day, and then we opened our own website. Then we moved into an apartment just for the business, then into a house, and just continued to grow. And here we are now in a 6,500 square foot warehouse bikini factory, and we make all of our suits in Lenexa, Kansas.
That's cool. Yeah, and I really love the story of that too, because you solved the problem, made a product better.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when I heard your story, you told me a long time ago. I heard your story. That's actually how Lamborghini started too.
Yeah, I remember you told me that.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite business stories ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've had a not so great customer experience, and you solved the problem, made a product better, and now you're one of the bigger.
Yeah.
Are you guys the biggest?
We are the biggest.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're.
Whoop, whoop.
That's pretty cool to say. Is that crazy to say that?
It is crazy to say that. One thing that I think attributes to our success is that we were the customer, so we knew exactly what the customer wanted going into it. And that sets us apart because when, these girls are on prep and they're worried about, are they hitting their macros? Are they practicing posing enough? There's so many things to worry about. You don't want to worry about your suit. So, when you order from us, we make sure we tell you updates on your suit and how it's going, send you photos and videos. So being the customer, turning that to a business was that really helped us be successful.
Yeah, I was going to say one thing that really, really stands out, amongst a lot of things, but one thing is the customer service on point. I remember in the past, before I was with you guys, I would have suits delivered the night before show, and I would be so stressed. I was like, oh my God, I hope it makes in time. Oh my gosh, where's it at? I haven't heard anything. I didn't get it shipping. Where is my suit? Am I going to get it? But you definitely, there's no problem wondering where my suit is. You will give updates we're putting on the stones, we're attaching connectors, and just sending videos and text. So it's where the process is and when it's to be expected and what it's looking like.
Yeah,
because
it's
pretty cool.
It's a big deal. We like to equate it to buying your wedding dress. This is not just a bikini. It is a huge deal. You've worked so hard to get on stage. You've prepped 12 weeks, 16 weeks, maybe 5 years you've been working towards this. Your suit should be important, and we treat every customer like they're going to walk on the Olympia stage because it is that important to them.
Definitely.
I like the wedding dress analogy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've said that before too. And I say it is kind of you get to dress up for a day, you get to be a fit princess too.
Yeah.
And it's like choosing a wedding dress and having a look how am I going to do my hair, my makeup, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of cool, So I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's really cool. Yeah, I know. I just love that part. And I've worked with a lot of suit people, but before you too. And now I pretty much just work with you guys. But I remember when I first started working with you guys, which was years ago. I don't know if it was we're trying to figure out how long ago that was. It was at least 7 years ago.
I think it was 2016. Does that sound right?
It's probably around that time frame. Yeah. But I remember because there was a lot less so social media about suits back then.
Yeah.
They weren't talking about cuts so much and colors. Everyone was just just get a suit, And so I would say I was definitely really difficult to work with in terms of what I expected out of my suit people, because they would always mess up what I knew was right, And so, the only reason I knew it was right was because the judges told me what to do, and they'd be like, "Oh, you need to make a smaller suit. It needs to do this. It needs to do this." And I'm like, why can I not just tell my girl I want you to wear blue, and that not be a thing? Like, why do I have to go farther than that? And it was like taking so much of my time. And then I'd get all these suits that were wrong, and I would tell the person, whoever made it, which is usually like a smaller one-time person, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be, and then like they'd get like mad. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, yes, I'm hard to work with because I'm a perfectionist. That's what the girls expect. That's why they hire me, right? But this comes from the judges that told me to do this. Like, it's not a one-step thing.
I like that you brought up the judges, because that's one thing that sets us apart. You know, every single year we evolve our pattern based on what the judges say. So if you look at the suit that you got from us in 2015, it's going to be a lot different. And you don't even notice, because every year we do minor tweaks to what the judges are wanting. Because this sport, especially the bikini division, it's evolved so much in the past 10 years. Like, I mean, looking at Ashley's first suit that she ever wore on stage, it was a white bikini from Target.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, it's just crazy to see the evolution, but you guys are definitely up on the trends. So what, I guess, keeps you driven though? So we know how you got started, but what keeps you like super motivated to continue to, I guess, be such a awesome creator?
That's a great question.
CEO? Yeah, like, because you're super motivated. And, you know, something I noticed about you when we were traveling is, like, you're very business savvy, but, like, you're very passionate, too. And I think it's important to realize that, you know, Adam and I speak often about, like, you know, you can make more of the sport than just being an athlete, right? A lot of times people will think the only way to, I guess, start a career in the sport is to be a successful athlete, but there's many routes to go down. You could be a trainer, a coach, social media. You can be a creator of a suit company. So I think that's really cool. So what is like what keeps you driven?
Yeah, and it's pretty easy for me. It's passion. I am one of those people that if I like something, I go all out. I'm either 0 or 100. So with this business, I am definitely 100, and I'm so passionate about it that I never have to motivate myself to work. I honestly, as cheesy as it sounds, I wake up every day and I'm excited to go to work, and don't count down the hours ever. I don't really want to leave. I'm happy working, and I think it's that passion that combines with from a background in competing, it gives you a lot of discipline. So when you have all that willpower, using it with passion, you can do anything pretty much.
Yeah, I think that's why that's actually the number one reason I like competing. Because I look at it, because I know how competing is going to be a temporary thing, no matter how good you are. There's going to be it's a finite, time frame of how long you can compete. So with but what isn't finite, what's gonna last you forever is like the discipline and the hard work you learn to achieve a goal. And so whether it's the goal of competing and then you're done with competing, and maybe you just do it a few times or whatever, but you learn something in you. You learn that discipline in you. When I was working for 24 Hour Fitness as a fitness manager, if someone had like on their resume, like they're in the Army or Navy or something like that, I was like, I'm gonna hire these people because they're disciplined. They've been taught discipline, sacrifice, hard work, Yeah. And so when it was always a good hire when you hired someone like that. And it's the same thing like with competition. It's like, oh, they did 10 competitions. Like they know that in order to achieve something, they have to work hard and sacrifice,
Yeah. And I really see bodybuilding growing a lot now in 2022 because there's so much instant gratification in the world right now. And this is completely opposite. There's no instant gratification. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes money, it takes years. So I do see that building traction in the sport as kind of an escape from all the instant gratification things.
Yeah, I just like that everything's earned. There's nothing given in this, and anyone who thinks that there's going to be something given in this usually gets spanked on stage. Yep. And I'm like, yeah. It's funny because what I do find too, the people that are really good in this sport still think they have a ton of work to do, and the people who think that they're really good have wait, did I say it the right way? The people who think they're really good are already they think they have a lot more to go, and people who are not really good think they're already there.
That's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Little science for you.
You know what? Throw that out there. Yeah. Let's go into that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is cool. This is news. All right.
The little nugget.
Yeah, the little nugget. The Dunning-Kruger effect. It's the concept of the more you learn about a topic, the less you know that you know. So I always think about when I started respiratory therapy school, and all we learn about is the lungs in RT school. And the more I learned about the lungs, the more I realized I didn't know anything about the lungs because everything in life is so much more complicated than we know. So the more you study a topic, the more you know that you don't know. Yeah. And it's kind of like the same thing with competing. So Ashley, you've been competing for years. You actually know like where you need to improve because you know so much to the very finite details.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. It definitely opens your eyes to, maybe there's more to this than, what I initially had thought, and I think a lot of people don't think that. And if from an outside looking in, it's like people that don't know, well, I shouldn't say no, that aren't involved with the sport as much is like, those are the ones that think that they know the most in a sense, but it's like, oh, if you only actually knew how much goes into it and all that, which is funny because it's like the thing is, how do I say this? A lot of people that give opinions or critiques on your physique are the ones that you're just like, who?
This is the best.
Yeah, competed once, but they're acting like they know it all. And it's like, hey, if anybody knows what to improve on for my own physique, it's definitely me. And obviously judges and people that would know, I guess, more about it. But for whatever reason, people that competed once think that they know a lot.
Yeah, like Ashley, I really think you need to work on your glute ham tie-in.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
you really need to work on that.
it's like
I'm totally kidding.
Believe me, if anybody would know, it would be me. Don't you worry. It's like, but it just, that's an example of many, and I think like you can relate as well. Like people trying to give you, is it called armchair quarterback advice? Is that what it's called?
I think that's what it's called.
Armchair quarterback.
Yeah, and I'll call myself out on this. When I did my first show in 2013, I remember thinking, okay, so in 2014, I'm going to do a show in May. I'm going to get qualified for nationals, and then I'm going to get my pro card in 2014. Like, I totally had this all written out. And my physique was nowhere near ready for that. But I truly thought that it was possible because I was so new to the sport. So it happens to all of us.
Yeah,
right.
I go through it too. You know what's funny is that as I've gotten, so I went through these phases of when I first started. It's kind of funny because it happens the same way to me too. When I first started, I was like super researched and like, I was like aggressively researched where like I wanted to like tell the world and show it off. And it was like this whole thing like in my younger years, right? And then as I got farther into it and researched more and more and competed more and more, then I realized, okay, less of that research is really relevant. And then I kind of went to this like middle ground of like science and meathead, like some of their stuff is good, some of the science stuff is good. And I've kind of like found this balance. And then but I thought I was pretty much there. And then as I've gotten older, I've realized, okay, I still got a lot more to learn. And then as I've gotten older again, I've been like, okay, now I know what it is I need to learn. And now I can identify what my weaknesses are. So it's kind of funny how that evolves, right? Yeah. And it's like, but those weaknesses are so hard to plug at this point. You're like, oh, these ones, I know I could be better if I just fixed these things. And it's like, there's so much, I guess, because that's how it goes, right? It just gets harder and harder.
Yeah.
And I imagine once I reach those weaknesses, I'll probably find the next level.
You'll find more weaknesses.
Whatever the level is that you find after that, right?
You never stop growing in life.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I like that you do it too, and it's like a suit thing. And I've had, I've had really just great experiences with your guys' company, like even at like shows where something might have happened to the girl's suit or something, like something, whatever. I see it, I was like, oh, this is a little high. And I've had your people come in and then sew it down. I'm like, this is crazy service. Like it's just nuts. Because, they lose weight a little bit and things like that. It changes just a tiny bit, so it's like, it's been really great with you guys. So I'm really happy. And I've liked that the culture you guys have created too, which is I know is the best one in terms of bikini suit competitions, like your fashion show that you guys just had. If you guys aren't aware of the fashion show, you want to tell them about what the fashion show is? Yeah. It's pretty epic, to be honest.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing that we do. I'm so passionate about the fashion show. And we started it as a kind of an outlet for athletes in their off season, or maybe they just got done with a show, 8 weeks ago and they lost confidence because you look so amazing on show day, but then a couple weeks later you get back to a normal looking physique and you still look amazing, but you've lost some confidence because you don't have as much of the shreds anymore. So the Angel Fashion Show stage welcomes all athletic female body types. So we have girls there on peak week. We have girls that are 8 weeks out, girls in off season, all different physiques, all celebrating being confident on stage.
I love it. It is so much fun. And I've been in the fashion show for 3 years?
Yeah.
3 years. So yeah, it is a good time. And I think even for me, something that, I like about it is I get to try different suits on and see how it looks before I actually go on the real bikini stage, right? So it's like a little test run. I think that's fun. And I love meeting all the other girls there because everyone there is super passionate and just wants to be there. And it's a good time, good group of girls.
Yeah.
So it's like, everyone's having a lot of fun without that pressure of it being like a judged event. It's just to have some fun.
Yeah. It's an amazing weekend of connection.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I found with the community. It's a lot different than shows because shows you're like there to compete. You're hungry. You're like thinking about what you're going to do after. It's just you're with your one friend and that's kind of it, or if you're with your team and that's kind of it. But there it's like everyone's on the same team.
Everyone's best friends.
Yeah, it's cool. And everyone's just like happy and having fun. And it's like, it's just different,
Yeah,
so
and it's good stage practice too because the fashion show stage, you can kind of do whatever you want. Yeah. So if you have those butterflies to get out, it's great to get on a stage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And you're always thinking about evolving on that too. Yesterday, we went to a show yesterday, another show. What did we see yesterday?
America's Got Talent.
Oh, we saw the America's Got Talent show out here. I am a good tour guide out here.
You are. You've been amazing, Adam.
I love Vegas. I don't know. I really like Vegas a lot. It was funny. I was telling them the only problem with Vegas is that when you go to if you live in Vegas and you go to different cities, every other city kind of sucks now. And you're like, because we have so much here, and you're just like, what do you got to do here? And like, oh, we got like barbecue and whatever. And I'm like, man, I miss Vegas.
You're totally making fun of Kansas right now because all we have is barbecue.
Denver sucks too as a tourist. Unless you're like, Denver was hard because unless you were into skiing or into hiking, there wasn't much to do besides that stuff. But they had really beautiful hiking, really beautiful. It was like 10 out of 10. Or Red Rocks, right? And some good gym culture too. But some cities don't even have good gym culture, So there's a lot of here is just crazy. Here's just a crazy
I will say a quick plug for Kansas City because it's the most amazing city in the world. It is a hidden gem. I do truly just love living there.
Yeah. I got to check. I've only been there for like short periods, like a day or two, and I just go and barbecue. And then I haven't found like the bodybuilding gym and whatnot too. Like in Denver, we had Arm Breast, which has its own culture to it. It's like that alone is a trip for people. They just go there, eat Tokyo Joe's, go to Arm Breast, So here it's kind of gotten crazy. It's like we have Dragon's Lair, we have Fit Club, we have here. There's the Live Factory. Like we have all these cool gyms now and all these things to do. So it's definitely spoiled here.
Yeah, I love Vegas.
It kind of just popped off at once too. It just seems like all these gyms and it just became a hot spot real quick,
Overnight.
Yeah.
Well, Ashley, you moved here.
Well, it wasn't because of me. There's many other important people that moved here. And I think it has something to do with the Vegas COVID thing. The California. Yeah. Because a lot of the people that did move here were from California or just lingering in the area. So I think that was definitely the push, but I'm glad we're in the hot spot now and the Olympia's back. It's this choice.
This year's Olympia is going to be nuts with all the gyms and all the people because it used to be, and you guys are going to be out here too.
Oh yeah, Olympia. For sure. We have 12 athletes already that are qualified for the Olympia.
Nice.
12 of our sponsored athletes.
That's sweet.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's going to be deep. Because it used to be, that was the coolest part of like living in Southern California. It was like the Olympia week. When I was a kid, I'd go to Venice Gold's Gym every day during the week before the Olympia. And all these people would fly in from like Australia and and they'd come with like a group of like all these meatheads, right? They would do like 20 meatheads from Brazil and 20 meatheads from Australia. And it's like just meathead factory at Gold's Gym. And it was so cool because back then there was no, social media. So you'd see these guys that you'd never seen before and you're like, oh, who's this guy, right? And it was like, and then you'd see these girls and this and that. You're like, this is crazy. And they would like always evolve like, okay, we need to be better because you didn't see the amateurs, so you didn't see these things. So it was just a whole week of like 100 crazy fit people working out from different countries. It was so fun. And then what would happen is every like Thursday of that week, they would all get in a car and like rent a van and drive to Vegas and then do the same thing in Vegas and go to like Gold's Gym out here. So it's like this culture thing, but that's dead now. In LA, that's not going to happen this year. So it's going to be here now. And I'm sure it's going to be at Dragons Fit Club. Our people will be here. I don't know how many people we'll actually have here, but it's going to be, I'm really excited to see it now and that everything's set up, but this is going to be a crazy 10 days in Vegas with fitness things,
Yeah.
I can imagine just like I always think about this too. Like if you're at a hotel with like your wife or something, you're just on a family vacation and then you accidentally went to like National Hotel or something, or like the Olympia Hotel, you're just at the pool.
What's going on?
You're just at the pool and you see like, these giant bodybuilders all at the pool. You're like, America's crazy. Like they're really into this stuff in America. That's funny. So you're going to have a booth at the Olympia. You have another fashion show coming up. Yes. When's your next one?
So we have a traveling show down in Texas in September. So if you are in the Texas area, definitely stay in contact with us because details are coming out very soon on that. And then we'll have one in Kansas City in November.
Okay. I'm going to try to go to those more. I didn't go for a few years, and I realized how fun they were, what I was missing. And I was like, I got to go to that again. So I'm going to try to go every year. I'll try to go every year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like a celebration.
Yeah.
Like a big party weekend, but fitness and yeah.
Heck yeah. Do you have any other exciting projects that you're allowed to talk about?
Oh, we have so many exciting projects. So we just launched our Angel Active. We have launched with 2 sets right now of our Black Cheetah and Hologram Red practice suit prints, and we put it on activewear. So if you're in the gym wanting to match your suit, now you can with our workout attire, and we have a lot more styles and prints coming later this year. So definitely stay tuned to that. We love the scrunch butt in our leggings because I don't know if you've ever experienced this. Sometimes when you get the scrunch butt in the leggings, it disappears or it like rides up your butt. So ours is made in a way to where it just stays looking super flattering the entire time. So it's not only squat proof, but it's like squat, like defining.
Okay. That's something I'm always trying to do is match my underwears.
Yeah.
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 Luckily, I'm always wearing gray and black, so it's not too hard. But when I do the purple days, I'll match it.
Oh, yeah. Is there in events, too, any other fun events that you have, like, on the agenda?
Yeah, so we'll be at the Pittsburgh Pro to watch Ashley compete.
It's going to be a good one.
We have a lot of other sponsored athletes competing at that one, too, and I'm so excited to see everyone. I've never actually been to the Pittsburgh Pro.
It's a deep show.
Oh, gosh, it's a mini Olympia.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one.
It's pretty, but minus Jennifer, it's pretty much the Olympia, right? I mean, it's
I mean, there's a few other missing key players.
Is
but
Issa not in there? Or she?
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe.
I mean, Janet's there, Lauralee's there, you're there. I guess we're at the, I don't know if Jennifer, Maureen, Issa, I don't know who else is there.
I think a lot of times people, though, wait till last minute to turn the contract. But even if they weren't, it's still a really deep show.
Yeah.
And it's always competitive and a lot of fun, though. It's definitely one of those higher pressured shows for sure, where I'm going to be a little more nervous than usual. But, it's good. It's good to be against really good competitors because it makes you better. But yeah, that'll be the next show for me.
Yeah, I think that'll be the biggest show outside of the Olympia and Arnold this year. It's been like that. It's pretty deep. I think it goes like that now, like Pittsburgh, like Olympia, Arnold, Pittsburgh now. Yeah, because it was for a while, I think, more like Tampa, right? And then it was still those big 3, New York, Pittsburgh, but Tampa was always like that. I guess it was like the final push.
It's hard to determine what's a big show if you're not, obviously Olympia and Arnold are the biggest, but as far as those other shows, it is hard to determine what is considered a big show because you don't know until the competitors step on stage who's actually competing or how many and shoot, it is one of the bigger ones, that's for sure. I won it last year, and that was pretty exciting for me, but I do want to get into some of those bigger shows too, so maybe I'll do Chicago Pro 2 or New York, who knows, but yeah, high pressure.
Yeah, those shows are always situational too. It's always like who competes, where they're at with points. Like Tampa's usually was that. That's why Tampa was always so crazy, is because you'd have like 4 girls fighting for like, I just need a 3rd and I'll get into the Olympia. I just need a 5th, and then you'd have like someone who's won. You're like, oh man, she's getting ready actually to try to win the Olympia. So you'd have all these girls like fighting for points and fighting for a win, and just that's like the last like final stretch there type of thing. And that was always why that show got so exciting. That show it was always one of the huge ones too because of that. So yeah, Pittsburgh's gonna be really, really fun. So that's cool that you're there.
Yeah, we'll be backstage and we'll be there helping girls tie your suits. If you need any help with anything, we'll be there. And we're gonna try to hit up most of all of the national shows. We'll be backstage somewhere there helping girls and a lot of the big shows around.
Cool. So as far as like future things with you, and like obviously you've taken this to like your farthest passion that you can. Where are you trying to go with it? What's the end? What's the end goal for Angel here?
Yeah,
I know you have a fashion line, or you have your active line.
Yeah.
You're doing makeup now.
Yes.
Stage makeup, right?
Yes.
It's just stage makeup.
Yeah, so we are all about the athletes. So everything we do is for the athlete feeling confident, not only on stage, but in their off season. And we did just launch makeup because we realized a lot of athletes are not confident in doing their own makeup, and they aren't confident in getting their makeup done at shows, because sometimes you have to get up so early, and then by the time you're on stage, it's sweated off your face. So we do have a kit of stage makeup that is great to also have if you're getting your makeup professionally done, because who knows how many hours it is until you get on stage. You know, sometimes you have your makeup appointment at 3 a.m. and then you're go on stage, like 3 p.m. So we have new makeup. So the future for Angel is focusing really on the athlete, and whatever we can do to make them feel confident, that's where our business will go. And when you say like, what's the end for Angel? There is no end.
Oh,
like
I never
really think about, you know, cause I've had business mentors be like, okay, when are you going to sell your company? I'm like, what? Never. No. So there's no end. We will just always keep evolving and growing and taking whatever opportunities that we see fits our vision of making women feel confident.
That's cool. Yeah. I'm the same way. I would never sell. I would never, like, it doesn't matter. Why? What am I going to do? Yeah. It's like, what would you do? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. People don't get that when you create like your baby. It's just, you don't.
It's like you would never sell your child.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, honestly.
I don't know. I don't get those people. Like, I don't get it. I get it for sport. Like, some of these guys do it for sport, but it's not about their passion. They just like buy, fix, and sell. Like, that's one thing. But like, when you do it like this, where it's actually your passion, like, what would I do? Just, what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that you're doing that. You know what we got to do too? We should do, because we're going to have Lindsay Ambrosia, who's an awesome makeup artist. If we can ever use her, we use her. Do a seminar here the week of the Olympia, because we're doing a whole bunch of stuff the week of the Olympia, but we should maybe do it with your makeup stuff. Like,
that would be amazing.
She's going to do a makeup tutorial seminar here, because I'm a huge fan of people doing their own makeup. I hate the makeup situation that the girls run into, because it makes it really hard on the coaches too. And the makeup artists don't understand this. They're like, yeah, just wake up at 2 a.m. and come do your makeup. And I'm like, she's on at 2 p.m. So now she's going to be up for 12 hours. Her body's going to look different. She's going to be tired because she didn't sleep that much. I mean, she can try to sleep at 6 o'clock to get her sleep, but you know what I mean? And they'll do it. I've seen, well, the earliest I've had girls do their makeup is like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And they're, you know, and then a lot of time, I had a girl the other day, her appointment was at 4:30 a.m. And then she wakes up, and then at 4:30, they like at 4, they texted her. She was asleep. She's like, can you do it at 10? And I'm like, what? Like, she can't go to sleep.
It's
the day of the show.
so hard to sleep before the show anyways.
Like, if you wake up the day of the show, you're not going back to sleep. Like, you're just going to be thinking way too much. And I'm like, so now we got to eat more. We have to, like, address that. Like, if you can't, even if your makeup is a little less good than if they did it, I'd rather you do that than have, you know, being up for 12 hours and being, you know, another appointment you have to make. It's like, it's such a nightmare. I'd rather, so I'm really happy that like Lindsay does these classes. I'm happy that you guys are becoming more out there, and hopefully you guys, maybe that's something you guys can do, more tutorials and stuff on that, because Lindsay's a great, she's been, I mean, how long, Lindsay, 5 years, 6 years, something like that, worked with her. So yeah, she'll be here doing that. So maybe we can set something out like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's important to note too that like if you're going to do your own makeup, you gotta definitely practice and watch those tutorials, because you know, I think the average person doing their makeup doesn't have the skills unless they kind of practice. So that is something to know. Just, you know, if you're not comfortable with it, you got to practice beforehand, just to see if you're able to manage. But, you know, regardless, you got to bring the backup kit. Like you said, things happen.
Yeah.
You sweat, you need powder, you need lips. Your lips are going to wear off. Always good to have just in case. Just like you bring a backup suit, you need to bring backup makeup and backup tan stuff. Having that prepared is very important. And even if you don't use it, just knowing that just in case anything happens, it is there, you know. But I think, you know, that is super helpful. And not a lot of companies would cater to specifically competitor makeup, because it is a big difference.
It is. It's a big difference.
Obviously not your everyday. So I think that's really smart the route you guys are going. And I think it's cool how you do like team related gear as well, like the robes. You can get the team robes and jackets. That is so fun. You guys are just really creative with like the products that you create. So I love to see you guys expanding from bikinis to then bikinis and robes, and then jewelry, and then this and that, and makeup and clothes. It's so cool to see and witness. You guys are so creative, and I'm very honored to be on your sponsored athlete list. It's I've been super happy about every single suit that you've created, and I love that we are starting to get more creative now, guys, with my suits. I'm stepping out of my box a little bit.
I like the naming process.
Yeah, let's talk about some of your names.
Yeah. So let's, you know, I've worn a different suit for every single show so far this year. And, you know, I'm a little stubborn when it comes to change. You know this. I'm like, I don't know. I just don't know. Because I always am afraid they're not going to recognize me. But I did some crazy suits this year. And they are beautiful.
What's been your favorite?
I got to say, as far as my favorite, probably my Legend 2 suit from the Arnold.
Okay.
But a close sec. Honestly, this is so close though. But I also like the green suit that I wore last weekend.
The Planet Earth?
No, not the Planet Earth.
The Grasshopper.
The Grasshopper. I like that one in the sense that it feels like very nostalgic because I used to always wear green. And I feel like it goes with my look. But then again, that red that I wore at the Arnold had that blue outline. It was so beautiful. Yeah. And then again, the Planet Earth, though, I think is Adam's favorite so far.
That's my favorite.
It's so vivid.
Yeah. You know what? I seem to like the blue on stuff because my favorite suit that I've ever seen before that one was a purple with blue on it.
Okay.
And I don't know. I just seem to like the contrast of that blue with other colors, I guess. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really loving our new Crystal Nova design on
that's
you.
That's what makes it look so 3D. I would say like I like them all for different reasons, and of course I've worn some different ones as well in between as well. But those are my top 3 so far this year.
You know what? I want to go into that real quick because this is something I'm always learning too, and this is something relatively new to me learning, which is the 3D effect of suits that seems to be trending a little bit more now. It's like I saw it, and then Ashley told me about it. She's like, Adam, suits are evolving because I've always been like, I've always been like contrast.
Yeah, he was a fan of that flat color stone.
Yeah.
Like no AB.
No AB.
But now
AB means reflective, by the way.
All the AB.
Sparkle.
Yeah. So if I was like, I just want contrast, and that's always been, I'm like, give me 5 colors of contrast, put them on your site as the suits that I like.
Yeah.
And that's it, and that's what I want, and it works for years, and then this whole 3D thing started happening, and I've been resistant to it because if I like to do what works, and then Ashley was like, no, Adam, suits are changing. Like it's evolving, and we have these
suit I wore, Planet Earth, your favorite is a Crystal Nova.
So that's the Nova, so for you girls out there, the suits, they seem to be, and it seems to be happening relatively quickly. I'm seeing more and more of them, of this like 3D pattern. You want to explain it? Because I'm not the best at explaining it, but the 3D effect of the suit and how it's almost ombres out. Is that what I was saying?
Yeah, so we put 3 different color of crystals on the cup, but it ombres out to the side. So it really gives you like more illusion.
More dimension.
More dimension on stage. And if you are listening to this and you're totally confused with anything we're talking about, you can always go to our website, acbikinis.com, and click schedule a consultation. And we'll call you on Zoom and we can chat and talk about all this one-on-one, because we realize it can be a lot to pick your suit. And like we said earlier, it is an important decision, like picking your wedding dress. So you can definitely schedule a consultation for free whenever you'd like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the way the stones ombre in, if you kind of want to explain how that affects, because you put the darkest on the outside and then it gradually fades lighter. And I think that is so cool because it really does just make everything look more elegant and more dimension, right? So instead of those again, everything in the sport is evolving and suits are part of that. We're kind of veering away from like the flat stones to more like, okay, then you saw more sparkle and now we're getting more 3D. Now, I think in figure with their suits, they get more crazy, and in other divisions, like you'll see more like stripes and stuff like that. In bikini, you can't get that wild yet, or not yet. But for now, it's like, okay, now we're starting to see some fading in and fading out of the stones with some sparkle, mixing it with some flat to give it that like, whoa, wow factor, It's just it's the way it shines on stage is so beautiful.
Yeah, I thought you'd be sacrificing some contrast for it, and then I was like, no, it's still quite contrasty. It still, has that pop to it. I'm always afraid of like any darker stones not getting enough light and then not being too dark. A navy blue looks black sometimes, and it's just, and the girl's like, well, I like the navy blue, and I'm like, it looks like a black suit, So especially when you have that dark tan, like those colors really like becomes almost monochromatic sometimes, like a dark maroon or something. And so, I'm happy with that, though. It still has a contrast. It has a dimension. I see the argument for it. I like it. So.
Yeah, and all of our suit stylists are active competitors, so you can show them stage photos and get an idea of how the suit will look on stage, because that's another important thing. When you're designing your suit, it's hard to envision what it's going to look like on stage, and we can help walk you through that.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you, Kara. So out of my suits I've worn so far on stage this year, what is your favorite? I know it's hard. It's a hard decision. So I said my favorite. Adam said his.
Mine's the Planet Earth.
Planet Earth. Yeah, that one is, I will give it credit, the most vivid out of all of them. It pops the most. It's like, whoa.
And the Kelly fabric on you, I really loved, because you've done a lot of emerald in the past. And I know you've done Kelly once before, but you've never done Kelly with the blue. And that's what I loved.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I'll definitely be wearing that one again. But I'll also we're playing around with different suits again too. So you'll be seeing some newer suits, and we've been naming them too. Some really fun names. So you just heard us reference Planet Earth, and that's because you saw the blue and then the greens and different shades of greens, just like Planet Earth.
You know what would be fun? If for your next suit, we had some type of contest on our Instagram of the most creative name.
Ooh.
Just a fun contest, yeah.
Oh, I can have like a suit,
and then you get to pick. You get to pick the name out of whichever one you like the most.
See how creative she is.
So then people will be like, okay, so Ashley really likes asparagus, and she's super bubbly, so I'm gonna name it Bubbly Asparagus or something like that. I don't know,
but I like that. So far this year, the suit names have been Red Velvet Cake. I've had the Legend 2, which is a revised suit that I wore at Romania when I won my 30th win, and the Legend 2 was at the Arnold. I've had Planet Earth. I've had Grasshopper. Cranberry sauce. I haven't worn that one yet, but I'm going to. Cranberry sauce, because it has those little darker maroons, and it's on a maroon, what is it? Hologram cranberry, yes. And then little dots for like chunks. And
so is that a contender for Pittsburgh Pro?
Perhaps. Although I will say, given that it's like kind of like I don't know. I haven't decided. I'm leaning more towards green on this, so we'll see. I'll probably not even decide till the last minute, but I do want to wear cranberry sauce. But don't you worry, I'm competing a lot this year too.
So we're not worried.
Each suit's going to get its time to shine. So what is being made currently is something called Electric Kale. So be on the lookout for that one. And then another one, maybe that one, we can have a contest for the name of that, since it's kind of undecided still. So maybe that's the one.
We're trying to get Ashley out of her comfort zone.
Oh, I'm already out of it.
Yeah. Well, this is pretty far out there. This is pretty far.
Yeah, but no purples yet, because I'm telling you, no purples yet, because everyone's wearing purple, or a lot of people are wearing purple. I don't want to conform.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that girl yet. Until it goes less popular, then I'll wear a purple, but not right now. Or maybe something with a pop of it, but not a pure purple quite yet. Is purple the most popular color you're seeing now, or
actually red is?
Red is okay. Red is a nice color, because a lot of people can pull it off, whether you're brunette or you're blonde. It's an easy, it's a classic.
It's interesting, the colors go through phases. 2017 was emerald, then 2018 was turquoise, then 2019 was still kind of the turquoise era, and now it's definitely in the red era.
Okay, still in the red?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know a lot of my competitors wear purple, so I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess with that, is there anything else that you wanted to say as we are kind of getting to that hour here?
Is there any questions? Good questions.
You know what? No questions came up this time, which is surprising. I was like looking through them all. Yeah, no, just everyone was just saying nice things.
Oh, well, thanks for the nice things.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, just a lot of hearts and things like that.
Yeah.
But if you want to check if there's any questions.
Yeah.
So one of our most common questions is, how early should I order my suit? And we really recommend ordering it 8 weeks out, if not 12 weeks, especially when we're in our busy season of suit making right now. Ordering your suit as soon as possible. And then any other questions you all have, it's best to schedule a consultation, because we can talk one-on-one with you and get your specific questions answered.
Cool. All right. Well, then.
Is there any you see, Savannah? Okay. Well, I think then that's a wrap.
Yeah, I guess with that, guys, thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thank you,
thanks for having me.
Of course, yeah.
And we appreciate your presence. Thank you for existing. Well, and thank you for all the beautiful and amazing suits throughout the year. Oh yeah, and I forgot, Skittles is one we made too.
Oh yeah,
Skittles. That's a fun one.
That one's fun. I like that.
Skittles.
The electric kale, you called it?
Oh
electric
yeah,
kale.
that one is not yet released.
Okay,
but it's being made.
I like that type of crazy name. You know,
you know. Well, the reason why we started naming them is because every time I had to communicate with Savannah, who is the coordinator of the suits, instead of being like that one red suit with the red stone and the AB crystal, that's a lot. So I just started giving them little names that are fun and easy to remember in case anybody else wants to get a replica. Which they totally can. You know.
Yeah. Ashley loves it when people wear her exact
suit.
So don't think, oh, I can't wear that because Ashley wore it. She loves that.
I love it. Yeah. It's flattering. It's like, oh.
And it's so fun to see people in the same suits on stage when they're so unique suits.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll make it a thing.
So with that, guys, thank you so much for listening. Dudes, thanks you. And we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.